would be forgiven for thinking that anyone or anything with ties to the Vatican would be beyond reproach. However, years of negative media coverage has us believing quite the opposite, and if you think some of what we've already heard is bad enough, there are several other juicy secrets not widely broadcast. From a practice thought to be long since dead, to money mismanagement and the Mafia, here are dark secrets the Vatican doesn't want you to know. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. Number 7. Is drinking a sin? If drinking were a sin, there would be a significant number of repentant partakers at the church confessional each week. Thankfully, it isn't, a fact that is no doubt met with relief from the residents of the Vatican City, who are said to consume more wine per capita than any other country in the world. As is the case with the crime rate, the per capita nature of the statistics does skew perceptions. However, The Independent reports that the average resident of the Vatican consumes 74 liters of wine per year. To put this figure into perspective, residents of the Vatican consume double that of the average resident of Italy and France, triple that of the average citizen of UK, and 6 times as much as the average American. Several demographic anomalies are said to be responsible for the figures, with the average Vaticano being an older, upper-class, and well-educated male. Residents are also more likely to eat in large groups, further contributing to a larger wine consumption. And of course, the frequent consumption of sacramental wine at communion doesn't help. Number 6. Pope Benedict XVI a Nazi? Born Joseph Ratzinger, Pope Benedict XVI was drafted into the German Anti-Aircraft Corps in 1943, whilst still in the seminary. The little-known fact that he once formed part of the Hitler Youth led some to question his character just prior to his election to the papacy in 2005, 3 days after his 78th birthday. As an Air Force child soldier, he completed training in Munich and worked in a BMW aircraft engine factory in Trostberg. Photographs show him in a paramilitary uniform in a factory populated by hundreds of slave laborers in striped concentration camp uniforms. Ratzinger is said to have deserted in 1945 and was sent to a prisoner of war camp for several months before being released and returning to the seminary. Prior to being elected as Pope Benedict XVI, he passed an investigation by the Wiesenthal Center, clearing him of any accusation of anti-Semitism. Number 5. The Duplessis Orphans. In the 1930s and 1940s, a conservative revolution led by Premier Maurice Duplessis ushered in an era in Quebec now known as the Great Darkness. Duplessis, with the support of the Catholic Church, rose to power throughout a period that was characterized by unprecedented corruption and repression. To help repay the favor, he created a bizarre money-making scheme that involved systematically diagnosing orphan children with mental illnesses they didn't have. The reason? Monetary gain. Subsidies for orphans amounted to just $1.25 a day, but mental patients were worth $2.75 per day instead. The situation for these children was dire, with many enduring unnecessary lobotomies, shock treatment, straitjackets, and abuse. Around 20,000 children were wrongly diagnosed, with many later bringing attention to their story and demanding compensation. The Duplessis Orphans, as they called themselves, pressured the Canadian government for justice, and were eventually granted a monetary settlement from the Quebec government. The Catholic Church is yet to apologize for its role in the scandal. Number 4. Guidelines for priests who father children. Until the 12th century, when representatives of several different Christian churches decided to change the rules, Catholic priests could marry. In addition to the ban imposed on marriage, priests were also expected to take a vow of celibacy, a vow that has been called into question throughout the years. One question that has arisen is, what happens if a priest fathers a child? In 2017, Ireland's Catholic Church published groundbreaking breaking guidelines for priests, publicly admitting for the first time that priests do father children, despite the expectation they remain celibate. In 2019, CBS News interviewed Vincent Doyle, the founder of a support group for children of priests. His support group website, Coping International, is aimed at helping children of priests and currently has 50,000 users in 175 countries. Number 3. The Vatican's Secret Court. The Apostolic Penitentiary is a tribunal that hears cases regarding sins and was established by Pope Alexander III in 1179. Shrouded in secrecy until 2009, the tribunal hears cases so grievous that only the Pope can grant absolution for them. Priests and bishops are able to deal with confessions of genocide. However, the secret court is utilized for sins considered bigger than that, such as an attempt on the Pope's life, a priest breaking the privacy expected of a confessional, or, worse still, spitting out a communion wafer. Yes, defiling the Eucharist is worse than genocide. The Pope and the tribunal's head, the major penitentiary, decide on the punishment. The meetings are held in private as they are considered a matter of conscience and not for public debate. Number 2. Vatican's Secret Archives. 53 miles of shelves containing 12 centuries worth of documents, named the Vatican's Secret Archives, are certain to evoke all sorts of questions. And it's little wonder, given that they are only available to a select few to peruse, further heightening suspicion at what they may contain. With claims the archives contain evidence of extraterrestrial life, proof Jesus didn't exist, and many more juicy secrets of the Roman Catholic Church, the archives have been handed down from pope to pope since 463 AD. Although they are called secret, they are anything but, in the fact that, well, they are known to exist. They aren't available for public viewing. However, scholars who pass a rigorous vetting process can view them, and since 2010, journalists have also been allowed to see their contents. Documents within the archive also only become available for viewing to the limited audience after 75 years, with the Vatican claiming it's too difficult to process the enormous bulk of documents any faster. This means that any documents pertaining to Pope Pius XII's actions during the Holocaust, or the Church's numerous abuse scandals, are still restricted from view. How convenient. The archives were renamed the Vatican Apostolic Archives in 2019. Number 1. Retiring popes. Imagine having to work until you die. As part of the Catholic dogma, most popes don't simply retire from the role. The job is only handed over to their successor upon their death. Of the 123 popes elected over the last 1,000 years, just 5 have resigned from the role. The first was Benedict XIX. One of the youngest popes, he was assigned the role in his early 20s and is the only person who served multiple terms. Forced out of the papacy in 1036, he returned several months later, but then decided he wanted to marry. The role was handed to his successor, Pope Gregory VI, in May 1045. However, Benedict soon discovered the woman he held a candle for didn't feel the same. He reclaimed the title of Pope again in November 1047, lasting just a year before he was removed. The second pope to resign was the man who had temporarily replaced Benedict. Pope Gregory VI stepped down after a year at the urging of the bishops. Pope Celestine V resigned in 1294 after just 5 months in the role. His successor had him jailed for fear he would try to reclaim the papacy, and Celestine died 10 months later. In 1415, there were 2 popes in the Catholic Church, one in Rome and one in Avignon. Pope Gregory XII chose to step down in 1415 so the Pope in Avignon could be removed, and the Catholic Church could change the ruling. Pope Benedict XVI was the final pope to resign. He did so in 2013, citing health reasons. However, some believe he was forced out following leaked information that he was an ineffectual manager and was struggling with the need for transparency with the public. When it comes to religion, there aren't many who don't hold an opinion of sorts. Positive or negative, believer or not, religion has been the cause of many arguments throughout the years, some more serious than others, and none more so than the Roman Catholic Church. founded almost 2,000 years ago, the church has certainly had its fair share of scandals, with this list of secrets adding further fuel to the fire. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time!